Hi, this is Callie Rose here with a prophetic dream, its interpretation, and a prophetic message. So in this video, I want to talk about my dream, and then I also want to kind of take you through the process of like that I use to figure out exactly what it is that God is trying to show me in the dream, what it means, and then also to confirm with Him of if this is the message that He wants me to deliver. So I'm going to kind of like explain what the process was of me breaking down this dream. And this dream was just a small snippet of a lot of us outside. We were all outside and we were pointing up in the sky, like saying, "What is that? What is that?" Everybody just kept saying, "What is that?" So I end up, it's just like it was me pointing up in the sky saying, "What is that?" And then I look up in the sky and I see two wheels. So I see one large wheel and then I see one smaller wheel. Like they were side by side and they were just panning and rotating in the sky. So, and then that was it. So that was that part. So this dream I had back in June. Um, and I kind of just wrote it in my tablet, but I just didn't post it. And so 3 weeks ago, I was led to read the book of Ezekiel, which I'm still reading right now. But then it brought me back to when Ezekiel was talking about his visions and how he saw the four living creatures and that they all had a will. It brought me back to what I read. I mean, what I dreamed and I wrote in my tablet. So um, the process that I took as far as to decipher what it was that what God was trying to show me and what it all meant was first I asked the question about the two wheels. So I needed to understand whether or not the two wheels represented two of the living creatures from from the Bible that Ezekiel explained. So I asked the question of so is the two wheels in the sky that I saw in the dream, do they represent the two living creatures? So that's what I asked. And I got yes. So then I start to really just like break down the dream, what else I saw in the dream. So the dream was short, so I didn't really have a whole bunch to go on. So I just kind of like paid attention. So I said the wheels were panning in the sky. So I start to think about how in the book, the Bible, it says that each creature would go in one separate direction, north, south, east, west. So I tried to think, okay, in what direction was the wheels panning? So in my dream, I noticed that the wheels were panning to the east, right? So now I'm like, okay, the wheels are panning to the east. So now I have to try to figure out what is that telling me? Why are they panning to the east? Why are there two wheels? These are all the questions that I had. So God had me look into what is said in the Bible of the purpose that He had for the four living creatures. So I did a little research online to see what they said the purpose of the four living creatures was. So it says the purpose of the four living creatures also has to do with declaring the holiness of God and leading in worship and adoration of God. And they are also involved in some way with God's justice. And were there when the first four seals were opened, and as well as the first four horsemen were sent out. So what I took from that is very basically that they are involved in God's divine justice. So since I saw the two wheels going east, so I'm going to take that as the two living creatures going to deliver God's divine justice in one of the states in the east coast of US. That's how I deciphered this whole thing. Since the wheels were panning east, I asked the question of whether or not were the wheels going east. I heard yes. Are these representing the two living creatures? I heard yes. So that's my interpretation. Those two wheels represent the two living creatures going to deliver divine justice. God's divine justice to a state in the East Coast. So I confirmed, just make sure that what I was basically what I interpreted as was it correct. I heard yes. So I went and searched for the East Coast states so I can kind of narrow down which state it is that this divine justice is being delivered at. So I went to the map and I just went and looked through all of the states. And as I went through each one of them, one stood out to me. It kind of stood out to me. So I asked, I said, okay, so, and it was at the last of the list of all of the ones that I read, but it stood out to me. So it was Washington, D.C. So when I went through the list, I was just kind of like moving my mouse around on my laptop, and that Washington D.C. was the one that had fully got highlighted. I kind of just was moving my mouse around. I wasn't really trying to highlight anything. I just was like reading off the states. But for some reason, the Washington D.C. got highlighted. So I asked, "Is it Washington D.C.?" So I was like, "Yes." So I asked about each one of them, obviously, and then I got Washington D.C. So here's the message: God's divine justice is being delivered to Washington D.C. And then also when I heard God's divine justice is being delivered, and I was like writing it down and reading it back to like before I said it, like I heard judgment. So it was like I accidentally said judgment instead of justice. So I don't really believe in coincidences, but if it was a coincidence, I'm just mentioning it because I don't believe in coincidences, because I just accidentally said judgment instead of justice when I was reading God's divine justice. I said God's divine judgment. That's what I was hearing and I spoke, but then I was like, oh, I meant justice. So that's the message. I kind of just wanted to take you guys through the process of me breaking down the interpretation of what the dream meant. And I was led to. So just in case you guys have dreams or you are not sure what the meaning is or if it came from God, or just if you want to get a clearer understanding, there is a process that you would go to try to break down to get the information or try to just narrow down what it is exactly that God is trying to show you. Like he'll show you, but sometimes it's just like yes, you can see it, but you need to know deeper what exactly it is that he wants you to relay as far as the message, or if the message is for you, you want to break it down so that you can actually understand what it is that God is trying to show you. So after I did all of that, it kind of so this is the second confirmation for this dream, and then I got a third confirmation on the 29th of August where I wrote another message that I'm going to deliver after this that is actually tied into this message, because like I told you, I'm reading the book of Ezekiel, and while I was reading, I heard something spiritually that I'm going to talk about. So these last two messages are connected together. That's it, you guys. Talk to you guys later.